Nice to say hello to you, netizens from CCTV and CGTN. Now I'm here at the interview with the director team of the handover ceremony performance of PyeongChang Winter Olympics. We are broadcasting through different media outlets and accounts at Baidu and Weibo. We know that a lot of people has been focusing on the Winter Olympic Games in South Korea, and the next one will be held in Beijing and Zhangjiakou. According to the tradition, on the closing ceremony, the next host city will present a performance, and they will also hand over the Olympic flag. And it also means the official beginning of the next Winter Olympic Games. So on February 25th, at the closing ceremony, there will be an artistic performance that will last for 8 minutes. So this is also something to call for people's attention on the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympic Games. Zhang Yimou will be the director of the Beijing 8 minutes performance. Today, we're also lucky to have his longtime partner, Mr. Sha Xiaolan. The two gentlemen had a lot of cooperation on many large-scale events. For example, at the closing ceremony of the Athens Olympic Games, Zhang Yimou presented a wonderful Beijing 8-minute performance. And at the PyeongChang Winter Olympic Games, he will have another chance. And today, we will give you more on this upcoming performance. While we speak, my colleague Cao Yan has already met Mr. Zhang Yimou and Sha Xiaolan. So more on that. This is the working space of the director's team. Here we are, Cao Yan. Okay, you can take over now. Our director and his team are still having communication post-rehearsal, so let's take a close-up of their preparation efforts. We can see director Zhang Yimou and Sha Xiaolan. We're from CCTV News, and we're broadcasting online. We're very curious about the Beijing 8-minute performance. And since the director's team is all here, so can you talk about this performance? I won't talk about it. I think maybe the chief producer, Sha Xiaolan, and Li Wei, executive director. And my colleagues can give you more on that. And this is Zhao Tong, the supervisor. And so our photographer, Mr. Zhao Xiaoding, we've worked on a lot of films also. So a very strong team, of course. Because we know the 8-minute performance means a lot for China. It's also a chance for it to showcase China's image. I want to satisfy everyone's expectations. So we've been doing preparation for a long time. So can we have an exclusive interview with you? Our CGTN platform will also be streaming online. Okay, thank you. we have several questions for you. Our netizens are very curious about the preparation for this performance. Okay, our photographers are ready. Okay, let's get going. First, would you please introduce to us how do you plan to present the Beijing 8-minute performance? In Athens in 2004, we did the same job. And for this year's performance, we went to South Korea too. What we know is that it's an 8-minute performance after the handover ceremony of the Olympic flag. We want to make it more technological, more modern, something different with the past performances. Highly focus on the 5,000 years of history of China, but want to present the story with something of a modern touch. You mentioned that it's your second chance at directing Beijing 8-minute performance. In the past 14 years, China has gone through a lot of changes in its technologies and every other way. If we make a comparison between the 8-minute performances of the 2004 Athens Olympic Games and the upcoming Winter Olympic Games, you'll see they are very different. And our performance will also be keeping up with the times. So this time we will use a lot of technologies. So how long have we been preparing for it? For more than 6 months. We have the same size space here, and people have been wearing down coats to work for the performance. And even during the Spring Festival, we'll be working. And on the first day of the Lunar New Year, we'll be departing for South Korea. And people have contributed a lot of efforts to this 8-minute performance. After getting this assignment, the Winter Olympic Games Committee told me that you have to take the job, and I actually find it very difficult because people have very high expectations for you. And maybe they'll have some bad comments or feedbacks. Because they did have some on my 2004 performance. Sometimes you worked a lot, but you cannot harvest. But for the sake of our national glory, I still decided to take the job. And also, through over a decade of learning, I'm more confident to apply my learning and my feelings into this 8-minute performance. I also communicated with leaders from the Beijing municipal government and the Beijing Winter Olympic Games Committee. We reached a consensus that we couldn't do the same job as we did in the Beijing Olympics. No more combo plate. We will give a concentrated story, something pure, something more artistic, and the leaders are very supportive because the Olympic Games could present a lot of traditional culture of China. And they said I could do anything with it. We can focus on something and choose one perspective. For the performance, we no longer want to include everything into it, but want to have a focus. I'm very lucky to watch your rehearsal, and I find out that you seem a bit understaffed. Yeah, we are no longer using huge crowd strategies. And we are using technologies as help to present our story. Because after all, the world will look at China, how we present our experience on the Winter Olympic Games. So 8 minutes means requirement for concentrated stories, yes? What other challenges are there? For the 8 minutes, we won't be performing in China, and the biggest challenge will be weather. I went to PyeongChang earlier. It's a very cold place, maybe minus 20 degrees centigrade, minus 0, and also very windy. That will be a huge challenge for our performance, because all your equipments, the wires, and the lighting equipments, you need to run a lot of experiments to see whether they could resist the cold weather and the wind there. Another question. I'm not sure whether we can talk about it now. What on earth will we see in this 8-minute performance? What elements will we find in this 8-minute performance, like something traditional, the Monkey King, or something else? Can you talk about it? Actually, I'm not in the position to talk so much about it. We need to find out about it on the PyeongChang Olympic Games. Okay, first, I think we can have a look at the preparation efforts of other stuff, but we couldn't present too much to you because we still need to keep it a secret. Mr. Sha Xiaolan, the chief producer, is also waiting for us for our interview. Yeah, due to confidentiality requirements, we couldn't review too much about the 8-minute performance. But we are very lucky to have with us Mr. Sha Xiaolan, the chief producer of the Beijing 8-minute performance. He's a very famous set and light designer. So, Mr. Sha Xiaolan, could you talk about this 8-minute performance? Mr. Sha, I know that director Zhang Yimou told the public last January that he would be the director for the performance, and he told us that you will be working with him. Can you recall about how he communicated with you, the call? Yeah, that was in December 2016. His assistant made a phone call to me, and Mr. Zhang Yimou told me that the leaders have handed me a very glorious task. That is a Beijing 8-minute performance on the Winter Olympic Games. Are you willing to work with me again? And I said, yes, of course. I want to be part of the team. It's not the first time you work with each other. And you had a lot of cooperation within China, but this time you are going to PyeongChang in South Korea. Director Zhang Yimou also mentioned the challenges from the low temperature and the wind there. So for you, what challenges do you think there are?
Actually, the largest challenge is to work in a different country because we will be working in a host country. The venue will not allow us to bring any facility. So we will have to use the facility in the host country to present our ideas. by using their facility. Well, our original plan is not to use the facility in the host country, to use our own. But now the case is different. We have to use their facility. We cannot bring our own stuff, own things. So we're just going there. So it's hard to tell. And there are so many uncertainties. Until today, many things are undecided yet. Yes, we visited the venue before. It is a five-tangular venue. The place is at a very low altitude. Yeah, the place is a Pentagon venue, and it's very cold. We brought some lighting facilities, but these need to be cold resistant, and we undergone some cold resistance experiments to make sure that this facility will work well. And this experience had to be done at home before we go there. So facing so many difficulties and challenges, and we are still 20 days ahead of the opening ceremony. I know we don't have much time, and your people are still undergone training in the venue, right? When did you start the preparation? The rehearsal started in the early November. We fixed the venue and set the stage in October. And we have done 50 days of rehearsals. And now we are at the final stage, to put it in this way. The lighting, the audio equipment, the screens, the multimedia facilities, and the production have all been rehearsed on site, and including the 3D motions, animations. I know you have done the gala for the G20 summit, and you worked with Director Zhang, and he also showed his idea and his understanding by using the technology. So how about this time in the 8-minute show? Will there be anything about technology? Yes, sure. Of course, there will be technology related, but I cannot tell you too much at this stage. We're about 20 days or so ahead of the opening ceremony. So there will be a lot of challenges, including the cold weather. And I'd like to know what kind of work plans do you have? Well, our plan is to make any precaution measures to resist against the cold weather and to make it very specific. And we will produce a very good videos and make all kinds of precaution plans and plan Bs. What if our equipment goes wrong? Yeah, just like you are acting like a coach to direct a competition, right? There will be a lot of difficulties to overcome in the process, right? So we really look forward to that and wish you all the best in the preparation work. Just now we interviewed Mr. Sha and Director Zhang Yimou. In the upcoming Beijing 8-minute show, so there will be a lot of elements to come. The closing ceremony will be held on the 25th of February. So apart from the many elements people are expecting, there will be some more. And we really look forward to such a 8-minute show in the upcoming closing ceremony of the PyeongChang Winter Olympics. So today's so much for the broadcast stream today.